Hey guys, Dan here with Battlefield Curator. You might have heard of the Battle of Aiken reenactment, which is based off the actual Battle of Aiken that happened in February of 1865. Now, if you took a casual walk in downtown Aiken, you would never think that a Civil War battle actually occurred here. If you've ever been to the Battle of Aiken reenactment, you would think that it was just another battle somewhere in the forest. No, this battle actually occurred in downtown Aiken. Granted, downtown Aiken was a lot smaller back then. It was a lot more of a rural town. We're talking 1865. Aiken, South Carolina was established in 1835. So the town didn't really grow too much. It wasn't like a huge city. But there were some forests and some crop fields in the downtown area, kind of in the surrounding downtown area, that did help conceal some of the soldiers. After Sherman's march to the sea, Union forces would plan their next move. General Judson Hugh Kilpatrick was leading his forces through South Carolina and up towards Columbia. One of Kilpatrick's main objectives here is to destroy the railroad tracks to limit the movement of supplies and troops for the Confederacy. Along the way, he burned towns and used up their resources. He nicknamed the town of Barnwell, Burnwell. His next stop was Aiken, South Carolina, where he intended to do the same. Now, leading up to the battle, there were quite a few skirmishes that occurred. Like we mentioned earlier, Barnwell, South Carolina, Blackville, Edisto Railroad Bridge, Cannon's Bridge, Williston, White Pond, Walker's Bridge, Hallman's Bridge, James Island, and Johnson Station. General Joseph Wheeler was informed that the Union forces were headed into Aiken. To protect Aiken and the surrounding area, he had accumulated other Confederate forces from the surrounding area. General Wheeler would plan from the Yellow House, while General Kilpatrick and his Union forces set up HQ at the Pascalis Plantation in Montmorency. General Wheeler was concerned that Kilpatrick will try to take Augusta and take the Graniteville Mill. Augusta was key because it had the powder works, which developed powder for the Confederacy. The Graniteville Mill was key because it provided uniforms for the Confederacy. General Wheeler's plan was to set up a large V-shaped ambush in town. Confederate forces set up around what is now South Boundary Avenue, Greenville Street, and Edgefield Avenue. There were also a few skirmishers placed at the very outer edge of town in order to lure in General Kilpatrick's forces. On the morning of February 11th, 1865, General Kilpatrick came into Aiken with the 9th Michigan, the 9th Ohio, the 10th Ohio, and the 92nd Illinois. As Union forces marched in, that was when Wheeler knew his plan was going to work. Just before he was about to give the order to attack, a Confederate soldier prematurely fired his rifle, setting off the battle. Though the ambush had failed, Confederate forces collapsed in on the Union forces and attempted to surround them, but in this case there was just chaos. Kilpatrick barely escaped. He lost his hat and almost his life. Concealed through the thick smoke, it was easy for hand-to-hand combat to ensue. Fighting in downtown Aiken became fierce. Bullets were impacting buildings, the churches. The saloon had a cannonball that went through it. Union officers needed to gather the troops, set up lines of fire, and try to make an escape, or else face capture or even death. The Union officers quickly devised a plan to get their forces out of there. Eventually, Kilpatrick's forces fell back to Montmorency. A few skirmishes ensued throughout the rest of the day and even into the next day, and it wasn't until February 13th that a truce was called. Both sides collected the casualties. General Kilpatrick's actual plan was to meet up with General Sherman in Columbia, South Carolina, so they can begin their siege there. Because General Wheeler took a lot of resources and troops from the surrounding area, he left the Edisto River open, and he left the route to Columbia, South Carolina open, which General Kilpatrick and his forces ended up flanking around and making it up there to meet up with General Sherman. While yes, the city of Aiken is what it is today because of the efforts of Confederate General Wheeler and his cavalry troops, it didn't really help out the Confederacy in the long run, and it definitely didn't help out Columbia, South Carolina. So, the next time you take a trip to Aiken to go to that reenactment that's out there, now you can probably visualize a little bit better of how this battle actually occurred. Need other sources of information? Check out some books on the subject, and also check out the Aiken County Historical Museum, or you can go to other museums in the area like the Augusta Museum of History or the South Carolina Relic Room. Well, there you have it, folks. The Battle of Aiken and the history behind it. Let me know what you guys think in the comments section. Also, check out the merchandise link in the description. Get yourself a Battlefield Curator t-shirt, hoodie, or a jacket. Definitely helps out the channel. And as I always say, be sure to learn history and curate history. Pulverize the like button. Subscribe if you haven't. Make it a great day.